right. Hello, everybody in social media land. I have a question for you. Have you noticed the holes leaking money out of your investment accounts? Listen, the only way you can't notice the holes is if you stop looking. It is May of 2025. Those of you who know, the country has been hit with what's called a bear market. And a bear market is when a bear bears down, right? That's a bear market. So we have been in a bear market for 6 months. It was so bad that you saw Donald Trump and his buddies selling Teslas on the White House lawn. Billionaires and small business owners lost millions of dollars on the stock market. You open up the stock market and it flashes red for months. So the question is, have you noticed? Now, some people say, I'm just not going to look. I'm not going to look. I'm telling you right now, stop that. Go look. Financial awareness is the beginning of financial literacy. If you look, you will find. The Bible says, seek and ye will find places to move your money so you can stop the holes. And I guess that's one of them. But in this masterclass, we're going to be talking about how to plug the holes in your retirement plan. So I want to admonish you to get something to write with, be it your cell phone, a piece of paper, a pen, whatever. You are going to get flashes of thought as you look and listen to this presentation. Write them down. Then I want to admonish you to apply what you are being taught. Apply it quickly before you forget. All right, that's number 2. And I'm also going to ask you, no, I'm not going to ask you. I'm being bossy today, okay? I'm going to tell you to hit the like button. That's the only pay that we are asking for. Financial advisors charge goo gobs of money. We are not charging you any money, but the pay that we are asking for is that just simply hit the like button or make a comment. And if you're here live in the masterclass, participate. They used to say in church, well, in my church, don't be a spectator, but be a participator. So that means make a comment in the chat. Say, oh, that was good. I didn't know that. Help the preacher preach. Preach, preacher. Okay, so that's all I'm asking for. Do we have a deal? I believe there's a thumbs up. So let's go and get started. Okay. So first, yes, we're talking about plugging the holes in your retirement account. Some people don't even notice that there are holes in your retirement account, right? So a lot of this is going to be awareness of the holes. Some of you might be saying, well, who are you? And what gives you the authority to say these things? My name is Richelle Dickerson, and I'm the CEO of Rhema Financial Solutions Incorporated. I have been in the industry since 1992. Yes, Tupac and Biggie Smalls were alive. And I'm a little older than they are. I know I look good, but I'm a little older than they are. I started selling whole life insurance back in the early 90s, and I experienced something called redlining. Those of you who know Black history, when you hear the word redlining, did you know there was redlining in financial services where they gave the African American agents poor grade financial products and a lower quality of education, and didn't allow us or our communities into certain things. And I experienced that in the 90s. I hit the $1 million round table in 1997, and the redlining was so bad, I didn't even know I hit the round table. I knew that the insurance company was flying me to Cancun and Bermuda and the Bahamas and New Orleans. I was all over the world at age 20, and they gave me diamond rings and all, but I had no idea how fierce I was, because at the $1 million round table level, I only made $30,000 a year. But one day, my upper management didn't come because they didn't make the round table, and I was the only one that did. And that is when I got into a back room with other Caucasian $1 million round table producers, and I was number 7 in the entire country, and I had did it for the second time. So they're looking at my little young 20-year-old chocolate butt, and they're 50 and Caucasian and male, looking at me like, what are you doing sitting here with us? Then they pulled me to the side and said, we respect you, because when you do it one time, we think it's a fluke. But when you do it again, we know you know what you're doing. So they began to open up secrets to me about things I would have never known had I not been in the back room with them. And let me tell you something. I got mad. I got angry. I'm like, you mean to tell me I only made $30,000? I beat all these people doing what I'm doing, and they're millionaires, and I'm in poverty with holes in my shoes? Something is wrong here. Okay, somebody got bamboozled, like Malcolm X said, you've been bamboozled, right? So that was the beginning of a journey where I've been able to go in the back room with people making tons of money and learn how to be your own bank. These concepts are not new, you all. They have been in existence since the 1940s. But because of redlining and segregation and things like that, people in our communities think they're new. Oh, I don't know if I trust that. That sounds like something new, honey. This has been around since Rockefeller. Do you hear what I'm saying? E.F. Hutton and his buddies started this thing in the 70s as well. All right. So yes, I got mad. All right. So I'm not going to tell you all of my story. I'm going to give you that foundation, but I'm going to give you the reason why you see a lot of fire and passion coming out of me. All right. So listen, with that being said, yes, I've earned certain levels. It hasn't always been easy. The business kicks your behind. Okay. This business is not for wimps. It kicks your behind. All right. Quite frankly. But during the pandemic, I came back into the business. My son and I were broke as broke can be, July of 2020. We were door dashing to try to make ends meet while people were dying. You remember that? We were door dashing. But a young lady at my church, I am on the dance ministry. She reached out to me and said, Richelle, I think I have something that can help you and Solomon. And she showed me the life insurance business, but she showed it to me in the be your own bank concept. And then she showed me how to build an agency and create passive income, and how to take life insurance products and investments and create passive income. And I put my hands on my hips with my broke self, and I said, what? What is this be your own bank? All I know is burying people. Life insurance can't do that. Right? That's all it is. It's just for death. Right? I know, because I thought I was all that back in the day. But long story short, I'm going to wrap it up, y'all, because I can go. Let me tell you something. Long story short, I started back in the industry. When I came back, I bought old friends of mine. When I got my license, July of 2020, I had 15 agents. 2 of them were millionaires and had $1 million agencies who came in with me to learn the concepts that I'm going to show you. So when I got my license, I started with a group of people. Okay? I hit the $1 million round table, no problem. The next year, I caught COVID and almost died on the couch in my government subsidized apartment. And as I was blacking out, I was in my business suit, I never forget. As I was blacking out, I said, who's going to take care of Solomon? I only have one son. He had COVID at 2, and he was in his room. I woke up the next day, which was Friday, and I said, there's $2,000 in my bank account. Where'd that come from? I haven't written a policy. Then I tried to do it again. I blacked out again, and I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do anything. Y'all remember how it was if you ever caught COVID? The next Friday, another $2,000 and some change was deposited into my bank account. Then it happened again and again. And the month of March 2021, every week I made $2,000, $2,100, almost at $3,000 week after week after week. And I didn't write a policy. I didn't write an account, nothing that month. And I said, what is going on? So I looked a little deeper. Once I got my health back and I could actually research, I saw that 2 things were paying me a passive income. Number 1, my business. And the agents were writing policies when I could not. And that was paying me a passive income. Number 2 was my index universal life policy. In the year of 2020, we went through a reprogramming process. We were told, get $1 million index universal life and overfund it. So from the time I started back in the business to March of 2021, I was overfunding an IUL. And do you know that slammer jammer started paying me a passive income? Now, I want to tell you this much. I was cramming cash in it. I was tithing to myself. So you can just do the math. If I made $2,000, I stuck $200 into my IUL. So I tithed into mine. I tithed into my son. My mama got one. Okay, my mama was, how old is she? Was 75 and she got one. Okay, and right now she's being her own bank. Okay, all right. So we were tithing into it. And then all of a sudden, walk how the bad boy was paying me. And I was like, this works, but I'm mad. Suppose I had been doing that since 1992. Come on. Suppose I had been doing that since 1992. E.F. Hutton started this policy in 1980, and them rich jokers was shoving cash into it like crazy pants. And they're living a tax-free cash passive income like I can't tell you. But we didn't have the opportunity. We was too chocolate and I was too female. But when I got it, baby, there is something that they say. When a slow one get it, they got it. And I was a slow one, but when I got it, I became so fired up about it, as you can see. All right, so that's my story, and that is what my experience, not necessarily that I'm some kind of multi-trillion gazillionaire, but my experience with it and my life is what qualifies me to tell you about it. Now, let me give you some good news. There's nothing for sale on this Zoom call, Miss Carla. At the end of this Zoom call, I am not going to ask you for $5,000 to start a coaching to be your coach. I've been on those calls, right? There's nothing for sale. So what is it that you want, Richelle? Referrals. I'm telling you straight up. Our coaching fee is referrals. 10 referrals. That is only if you decide that you want to come into a relationship with us. If you say, Richelle, I like you, I trust you, show me the money. And I design something for you, and then I say, Miss Carla, there's going to be no broker fees that come out of this account. You're going to say hallelujah, because them jokers charge you, what, 2% for the rest of your life, or 4%? Say, nope, no broker fees are going to come out. You don't have to pay me any broker fees, none of that. Miss Carla, what you have to do is give me 10 good referrals. We'll define what good is. You text them my business card. They say yes. You say, Richelle, go ahead and call so-and-so. And that's the relationship. 10 referrals one time. So now we can take all of that off the table. Go ahead. Let your guard down. Know that there's going to be no money exchanging hands. The only money that's going to come is the money that's dumped into your account. You are going to be making money. Okay? You're going to be making money if you do what I tell you. Okay? All right. The opportunity for agents. If you're live on whatever, you're looking at this, we train agents and financial advisors. If you have a Series 6 or Series 7 broker license, and you want to learn the strategy that we're talking about, we have a trademark patent on structuring policies, trust to create tax-free income. You want to learn it? Give me a call. Shoot me a text. Our average licensed agent, that we make so much money, you probably wouldn't believe me, so I'm going to cut it and make it low. Our average agent earns, even part-time, $1,000 per application. And I cut that low so that most folks can chew on that. Okay? And I have agents in the field with me who split cases, and all they do is watch me. And they make lots of money. They don't even want to stop just training with me, because they don't have to really do too much work, and they make a lot of money. Okay, so if you're interested in that, talk to me. Here are the companies we work for. Look, there they are. The one thing that you will notice is that they're all A-rated or better, and they're all over 100 years old. You'll notice the combination of investment companies and life insurance companies. We do not broker for B-rated life insurance companies. We have seen those jokers go out of business and take our clients with them, where we can't even service or access our clients, and they done gone down the street. So we do not even look in their direction. Don't call me. If you're on Facebook and you want me to work with you, you got a B-rated company, don't text me, message me, none of that, because the answer is going to be no. So I want you to have the same mentality that we have. Only pick the best. All right, so now we done got all that off the table. Let's get to what we said we were going to get to. There are holes in your investment accounts, huge ones. The first biggest hole is what? taxes. We call the 401k the tax money jail. I'm going straight for it. Why? Because if you try to touch your money before you're 59 and a half, you're going to be borrowing money from the IRS. Raise your hand. No, at a variable interest rate. Raise your hand if you think it would be a good idea for you to borrow money from the IRS. Oh, yeah, let me go to the IRS and borrow my own money. It's your money. You put it in there, but you got to be borrowing it. Why? Because you're deferring your taxes. You never pay taxes. So anytime you go touch it, you're going to be paying gobs of taxes. Early out penalties, 30% taxes, state, federal, everything. Fees, we just talked about that. Brokers attach a 1 to 2% fee on your account for the rest of your life. Low growth, people don't think about this. Especially people in the African American community. My grandma used to put money in a cookie jar, and my grandfather used to put money in a coin collection box down in the floor in the house. What is that? Okay? To this day, nobody knows where the daggone coin collection is. Listen. Look at me. I'm going to turn the slide off. Look, y'all see this pen? Let's say you go to the store and you buy this pen for $1, and it's May 2025. And then you go back next year, and this pen costs $1.05. What happened? The cost of living went up by 5%. If you don't have 5 extra cents, you cannot buy this pen. So listen, if your money is sitting somewhere and it is not growing by at least 5%, your money is depreciating in value. Example, do you know that Ford motor cars used to cost $800 when they first came out in the early 1900s? Can you buy a Ford motor car for $800 right now? What happened? The buying power of your money. You can barely buy good tires. I mean, I spent $600 buying tires for my mother, and they weren't even the best tires, okay? So every year your money sits and it doesn't grow by at least 5%, your money is depreciating in value. All those of you who are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, that was for you. And stock market losses. Can I ask you a question? Whose idea was it to put your retirement money on the stock market? Whose idea was it? Do you all remember when there used to be such thing as a pension? Where people's company would secure your money and you wouldn't lose a dime? Y'all remember the civil service retirement plans and pensions? Do you know that the government did away with that? And they started putting folks' retirement plan on the stock market. They knew that people were financially illiterate, because you don't just learn about the stock market. Normally, you have to pay somebody, you have to take a class, or you have to read a book or do some serious studying. So there we go. 90% of people's money going on the stock market, and they can't even read it. It looks like Mandarin Chinese, right? So there goes people's money. We recommend that only fun money, only access money, money that you don't need, that's the money that you buy shares with. That's the money that you risk. All right? In other words, your retirement money doesn't belong on the stock market. And I look, I don't care who I offend. I'm coming straight at you. All right? So let me go back here. Did I go too far? Let me go back. All right. So, Richelle, those are the holes. You promised us that you would tell us how to plug these holes. Well, let's start with the biggest hole, taxes. If you have a 401k or an IRA, if you have a brokerage account, you are going to pay buku taxes. If you have a brokerage account, you're going to pay 15 to 25% capital gains taxes. If you have a 401k, IRA, TSB, 403b, any tax deferred plan, you're going to pay 22% federal or more, depending on your income, 5% state or more, and a 10% early out penalty if you are under 59 and a half years old. So taxes mean that you, oh yeah, my TSP is looking good, my 401k is looking good. No, it ain't, because it ain't your money. 30% of that balance belongs to Uncle Sam. But you don't mentally take it off. You see that balance and swear it's yours. No, it's not. You haven't paid your taxes, honey. You have to take 30 to 40% off in taxes. You would have to earn 30 to 40% per year just to pay your flipping taxes. So how you get rid of that big hole, Richelle? Here it is. Boom. Take a picture of the slide and don't forget it. A Roth IRA. In the traditional banking system, at age 59 and a half, you can take out all your money tax-free. What? Why didn't my HR person tell me that? Because they don't have a license, so they're not legally supposed to tell you that. Now, I have a license, okay? That could be the first thing. They're not allowed to give financial advice. They just sign your butt up, okay? That's why. So don't be mad at the girl in your HR who didn't tell you that, okay? Just ease up on the people that's making an hourly wage, okay? The second thing is a Roth conversion. You convert it to a Roth, but you pay a one-time tax. It's going to be a whopper, baby. But then after you get it, after you pay that one-time tax, then you can grow all your money tax-free. Here's the one that E.F. Hutton designed. It's called the rich man's Roth. What is that? That's what I accidentally got July of 2020 and started shoving my money into. I didn't realize what I was doing. I was just doing what I was told. Get $1 million. Make sure you pass on $1 million to your son. Overfund it. Turn it into a retirement plan. Okay. Blindly following. And then I had to backward step and educate myself. It's called the rich man's Roth. It is buy permanent life insurance and invest the difference in a fixed index Roth IRA. What Mandarin Chinese did you just say, Miss Richelle? Don't worry, stay plugged in. I'm going to break down everything I just said and I'm going to show it to you. But the IUL, Index Universal Life, is nicknamed the rich man's Roth. You don't believe me? Type it in Google. Watch everything come up that I'm telling you. The fourth tax-free strategy. Okay, this is the one I had to get into the back room. I had to go to a special dinner where everybody has at least $250,000 in assets, sit through all of this stuff, pay, and find out. Then I had to get with my mentor who has $85 million in assets and run it by him. And he's like, oh yeah, we all have that. I'm like, say what? Y'all all have that. Oh yeah. I got that. We all got that. I'm like, stop. Okay. It is called a trust. No, it's not the trust that's in the public, like a living trust. No, it's not. It is a specially designed trust where you can transfer your retirement money in that jammy, and it will pay you for the rest of your life tax-free. These are the 4 ways to get Uncle Sam out of your pocket. Now, you're probably like, break that down. Honey, that's a separate workshop that would take a whole nother hour. If you're interested in that, stay tuned and come to my Roth IRA Masterclass, and we will break down all 4 of them and go deeper. But that's a whole nother workshop, honey. For now, take it in and don't ever forget it, and teach it to your children's children, all right? Here's a short breakdown. What is a rich man's Roth? What did you get that paid you passive income, Richelle? Here it is. Here's an example of Barbara and Dave. They're both in their mid-40s. They both have, one, she's a doctor, she's a teacher, he's a doctor. They both have 401ks. They said, Richelle, we're tired of these 401ks losing our money. All 3 steps forward to take 5 steps backward. What else can we get? Not only that, Richelle, our life insurance is going to drop us. It's term or temporary insurance. So as soon as we leave these jobs, we're not going to have any more life insurance, because that's all we got is on the job. So what do you have, Richelle? I said, honey, I have something that's going to kill 7 birds with 1 stone. What is it? All right. So I said, listen, consider this. Take the money that you would have been putting in your 401k. Keep the matching money. That's free money. Keep the matching. Everything over the matching money, diversified into an index universal life. Okay, that came up to $1,500 a month. So if you died, the other one would be a millionaire. You're gonna make your wife, your husband, y'all, either one, you got $1 million. They're like, cool, because that's about the mortgage. All right, so we need that. Okay. Then I said, how much money do you need at age 65? They said $5,000 a month just to pay our basic expenses, and we have some other stuff going. I said, cool. So we structured it so that at age 64, they stop putting money into it. And it will begin to pay them. Can you see the highlighted? $5,122 per month for the rest of their life. That fills the gap. But here's the be your own bank thing. Okay, they stopped putting money into it at age 64 and started taking a tax-free lifetime income. But what's happening to their cash value? At age 68, their cash value grew to $307,000, $614,000, $921,000, $1.2 million accessible tax-free cash at age 83, which means combined with taking the $5,122 per month. So I asked them a question. I said, if you take your 401k and leave, what's going to happen to that money? Oh, they're going to give us the option to take a lifetime income or a lump sum, but you can't have both. If you take the lifetime income, your lump sum, whoosh, what happened to your lump sum? Oh, the company says, well, thank you. And the brokerage house says, well, thank you for taking the monthly income, because we get to reinvest and play with your lump sum. The lump sum doesn't disappear, honey. You just don't have it no more. You hear what I'm saying? Okay. Here, they have both $1 million in cash value sitting in the policy to borrow or withdraw, and they're taking their lifetime income. Do you see why I stuffed 10% of every dime into the policy and I got myself $1 million worth of it and started doing that? Yes, indeed. And it has living benefits. This is the icing on the cake. If they became terminally ill, needed long-term care, long-term care, long-term care. Critically ill, which is cancer, heart attack, heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, critically injured, head trauma, severely burned, paralyzed, or in a coma, or they were diagnosed with long-term memory loss, they can surrender a portion of the death benefit, which means they will take $800,000 and use it as tax-free cash, get rid of it, the death benefit, and keep $200,000 back as a death benefit. Life insurance with living benefits. I had never seen a policy like this before in my life. But let me tell you something. Every time I talk about it, I love it. Okay, well, that's great. They're 45. Suppose I'm in my 60s. I told you my mama got this when she was 75. And she still got it and is good. All right, and she has been being her own bank, doing all kinds of stuff with it. Okay, so here is a woman, 60 years old. She said, Richelle, I got $200,000. I heard what you said. It's just sitting in the bank earning 1%. I said, Lord have mercy. And you got to pay taxes on it. And it's subject to probate. It's sitting in the bank. And the minute you die, death taxes are going to take it. Everybody who says you owe them money, your money is going to go through probate. You would be lucky if your kids got $25,000, $50,000 left after it went through probate. Bank's going to lock up your bank account. And your children going, stop. Listen to me. When your mama or daddy dies, don't go to the bank with their death certificate. Soon as you do that, they're going to freeze their account. And that money is going straight through probate. The first thing that happens is the government, the state and city government gets notified first. So they're going to take their money off the top. Then the federal government, then whatever debtors, whoever claims, that's what happens. So she said, look, I don't want that. I didn't work all this hard saving my pennies. I want this to go to my grandchildren. I said, yes, ma'am. So she took that $200,000 at once and she rolled it into an index universal life. She took a medical check because if you're 60 years old, you got to take a medical check. If you're under 60 years old, you can get up to $1 million with no medical check. Get it while you're young. So immediately it created $580,704 worth of death benefit. I said, honey, you doubled your money. Instead of giving them after probate, maybe like $60,000 and taking them through all that pain and drama, now you're going to transfer $588,000 straight to them, tax-free, no probate. Love it. I said, she said, Richelle, I need about an extra $1,200 on top of my pension. Now I can travel. When you're 60 and frisky and you're still healthy, what do you want to do? Travel. I want to see Egypt. I want to say, okay. All right, so I said, Miss Rosa, keep this until you're 65. She said, sure, I'm doing fine. My house is paid for. I'm good. I said, if you can keep this till you're 65, you'll give at least 5 years to cook. And at age 65, they're going to start paying you $1,200 a month tax-free for the rest of your life, Miss Rosa. She like, seriously? She said, do I have to claim that on my income? I said, no, ma'am, because it's considered a part of your death benefit. It's like if you would surrender a part of your life insurance. And I'll teach you some stuff. She said, I said, you can put it in your trust and we can even take it off of the grid like a Rockefeller. She said, ooh, keep talking, girl. And then your cash value is going to keep growing, Miss Rosa. So if you need to be your own bank, like if you see a piece of property and you want to take $72,000, $144,000 in cash value and flip it, I'll show you how to do that. She said, oh yeah, keep talking, girl. And then you have all the living benefits. So if you were diagnosed as needing long-term care, you don't have to call your son and go move in with him, his wife, and his kids to take care of you. Because this is going to pay you $6,744 a month for long-term care for 4 years. Now, it's going to decrease the death benefit as you take that money, but it's going to keep $200,000 with a death benefit back. She said, okay, we can live with that. So, honey, this is for the old, the young, and the in-between. I got this on my son when he was 12. He's almost 18. He's going to have over $6,000. When his hind parts get out of here in June of 2026 to go to college, he's going to take money out of his Be Your Own Bank policy. I'll show him how to flip the policy, and he can get his own car and all that and get up out of here. All right, so that was we showed you the different types of Roths, right, to get rid of the taxes. We showed you the rich man's Roth. What you just saw was an example of the rich man's Roth. By the way, that is not a new policy. It was invented by E.F. Hutton in the 1970s. Rich people haven't been doing this since the early 80s. Okay, the biggest way is the trust. This is you taking your 401k, owning it, which means you have to get your 401k out of your employer's hands. They own it. The IRS owns it. So it's called a self-directed IRA. So put it in a self-directed IRA, bonus it, get bonus money, get growth. From there, transfer it into a trust. We'll show you who, what, where, when, and how. Now, once you do that, your trust will be, this trust is only available as an irrevocable trust. What is that? That means that you cannot ever change it. No one can ever change it. On into eternity, you lock it down. Once the trust becomes irrevocable, it will pay you for the rest of your life tax-free. Want to know more about it? Who, what, where, when, and how? That is where you book a coaching call with me. And I'll give you that information at the end of the call. All right, Richelle. So you covered the biggest hole, which was taxes, right? And you even showed us what to do. Yes, I did. And didn't charge you a dime. I didn't receive it freely, so I can't do the Bible freely I've received and freely give. No, honey, I paid for those courses, okay? But I gave it to you because I want you to have it, apply it. The next hole we're going to talk about is broker fees. How do you stop the broker fees? You work with me and us. We don't attach broker fees to your accounts. We even reduce the cost of life insurance so that you can get those large cash values. Other agents are watching this online and saying, how did you structure that policy like that? We took a commission cut. Your agency or IMO is probably not going to let you do that. Some insurance companies aren't going to let you do that. We can take haircuts to get more cash in our clients' Index Universal Life, and we will do that. We will do that. But in exchange, what do we ask for? 10 referrals, that's all. Give us referrals so that we can keep on keeping on. Referrals are the lifeblood of any business. Give us lifeblood and we will take the commission cuts, and no need for fees, no need for any of that. We can perpetuate. You will do a free coaching call with me to see which one of these products fit you and your budget, okay? I already told you about how to stop the low growth because I couldn't stand it. Low growth, you have to have at least 5% interest growing on your money. If you don't have at least 5%, every 10 years, your money decreases, cuts in half. So I had one of the elders at my old church say, I'm not leaving my granddaughter $1 million. That's too much money. I said, how old is you? 16. I said, Elder so-and-so, when your granddaughter is 26, a $1,500 apartment is going to cost her $3,000 a month. When your granddaughter's 36, that same $1,500 value apartment is going to cost her $6,000 per month. $1 million when your granddaughter is in her 40s is going to be like living on $50,000 a year in our money. I know you don't understand it and can't see it in today's dollars, but long term, you are not giving your granddaughter a lot of money. You are just simply keeping her out of the ghetto. So yeah. You know I've been in the hood doing this because I'm so strong. I have to come strong like that, strong and in love, so that you can see. All right. So what account should you use to stop low growth? Well, listen, here's a lesson we should have learned in middle school. There are 3 different types to get paid interest on your money, 3 different types of accounts. The first account is called a fixed account. That means you have one guaranteed interest rate. So let's say you buy a CD and it's paying 4%. That's it. It's not going to go any higher. It's not going to go any lower. But remember, you still have to pay taxes and penalties on the CD. So how much interest did you really earn? It's still not keeping up with the cost of living, and you still got to pay taxes and penalties. It's not worth it, okay? But a fixed means it's guaranteed. That's a guaranteed interest rate. We call it flatlining in the financial industry. Boop! Because your money, if it's not higher than inflation, your money will depreciate or flatline. Third type is called a variable account. This is where you are a shareholder. You're buying portions of companies. You own companies. But when the market drops, your money goes. When the market goes up, your money goes up. You must be financially literate in order to survive in this kind of market. We do not recommend that your retirement money be on the market. We do not recommend that your emergency funds be on the market. Your emergency funds and retirement money should be here. This is the third type of account that you will not hear about publicly. This type of account is called a fixed index account. It is a combination of a fixed interest rate with stock market gains. It looks like a staircase, so that when the stock market crashes, your money sits on the floor. The financial term you will hear is the term floor. So that means that your money has stopped taking losses or no losses. But when the stock market goes up, your money will grow with the market. Stock market gains and no losses. It's a combination of fixed index account. Can you walk into the bank and get this account? No. Banks are being paid by brokerage houses. They get paid by their brokerage fees. So the only account they have to offer you is one where they put your money on the stock market. And if they lose your money, they still get paid because of the broker fees. Can you get this account at your job? Oh, you know the answer. It's no. Same thing. They are in partnership with the brokerage houses, so your job will still get paid even though you lose money because of the fees. So they really don't care. I'm sorry to just hit it to you hard. They don't care if you lose money because it's not going to change their paychecks because of the fees. The only way you can get these types of accounts are through the companies that we just showed you and through agents like myself who know how to structure them and teach you these things. So 3 different types of accounts: fixed, variable, and index. Which one do you feel is best for your retirement money and why? I normally open up the thing for questions, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to answer it. The answer is a fixed index account because you must earn over 5% interest. So you have to have stock market gains. And if it's your retirement money, it should be secure. It's called financial security. then when the market crashes, you don't lose a dime. So that is the best structure for your retirement money. This is a graph and comparison of all three. The red line is people's 401ks out on the S&P 500. Notice that when it was down and people had to retire, they lost half the value of their account and they still had to pay 30% in taxes. So they ended up trying to get a job at Walmart or in a flower store at age 65 because they didn't have enough money in the retirement. The blue line are fixed accounts. They didn't have to worry about losing anything, but at the end, they didn't have enough growth because it didn't stay ahead of the cost of living, and they still had to do what? Pay taxes. The green line is a fixed index account and how these folks did. So when the market crashed, they didn't lose a dime. No mental, emotional drama. But when the market went up, their money went up. They ended up with 2 times more money. Why? Because they didn't have to pay taxes. They didn't have to pay broker fees. And they didn't take any losses. Yes. All right. So, Miss Richelle, you said a fixed index account. We get it. We got it. We won't forget it. But then you said something about getting the taxes off of it with this trust. That's right. We have a workshop called the 3 Power Moves to become your own bank. Move number 1 is making sure your emergency funds and your life insurance is straight. Because if your emergency money and your life insurance is not straight, you're going to crash the whole financial house. So power move number 1. Power move number 2 is getting your money out of the government's hands, owning it. Power move number 3 is putting your money in a Rockefeller structured trust. What does that look like? Here is the formula that we created. We put your money in a growth account first, a fixed index growth account. These growth accounts pay bonuses between 5% and 14%, depending on how much money you are putting in there. Smaller accounts pay bonuses of 5%, so you could do $200 a month, small monthly amounts. They pay 5% bonuses. On up to larger amounts, you transfer $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. If you're at the $500,000 mark or more, there are accounts that will pay you a 14% bonus on what you transfer. What does that look like, Miss Richelle? Here's a real account. This woman is 65 years old. She transferred $500,000 out of her 401k. Her and I got on our 3rd Zoom call. We opened up her client portal and boom, the life insurance company paid her $50,000 for her transfer. I said, Miss Lee, she's from China, can you leave this money alone for 1 year and get a second bonus on top of it at the end of the year and let it grow? She said, yes, Richelle, I can. So she ended up earning 20.41% on her money that year because she got a 10% bonus and she got another 9 or whatever percentage from how we structured it in her fixed index account. So she ended up earning $52,057.43 that year. So after 1 year, her account was worth $602,057.43. She said, Richelle, I retired from Norfolk Public School Systems. I got a good pension, so I'm doing good. My house is paid for. But I want my money. I want to live on my money. I said, yes, ma'am. So from there, we did something called an internal transfer. We took what was there and then we transferred into an annuity, or we annuitized it. From this annuity, this particular annuity has something called an 8% roll up, which means she can take out 8% of the total balance of her account, and it pays her 8% for the rest of her life. Where is that heard of? Think about this. If she had put it in Charlie Schwab or TD Ameritrade in a brokerage account, and she began to withdraw 10% out every year, she would be flat broke in 10 years, because it would only last 10 years. So where in the world can you put your money and draw out 8% until the day you die, no matter how long you live? Nowhere, honey, but in an annuity. So, Miss Richelle, why is it that financial advisors tell you not to get annuities and that annuities suck? Because they don't get paid their commission check for the rest of their life. You're taking away their passive income. A broker will charge you 2% passive income while he's on the beach getting paid 2% off your account for the rest of his life, and you're losing money on the stock market, crying the blues, and can't do anything. That's why this has no broker fees and no losses. So here, Miss Lee's getting paid $47,617 guaranteed lifetime income. Now, if she had put this in a brokerage house, by age 86, she would have no money left. But now she's being her own bank. Being your own bank is when you use the life insurance company's money instead of your own money. When you can leverage or use the institute's money instead of your own money. Now she's no longer living off her own money. She's living off their money. She's won. Okay, cool. Sounds good. There's a millionaire who did the same thing, real estate investor. He'd sold 2 elementary schools and said, Richelle, we sold these elementary schools to get $1.3 million. We don't want to spend it all up to the line of zero. We don't want to throw it in the bank, a CD. Where the world are we going to do with it? We want to make sure we turn it into passive income. I said, yes, sir. We're going to get in the truck and we're going to drive all around the country. We're going to buy a house on the golf course. At age 65, we're going to stop and we want our money. I said, yes, sir. Let it cook. So we did the same strategy for him, and he got a bonus of $136,000. Now, we have accounts that pay higher now. But this was back when we had this account. Okay, so he got a $336,000. He let it cook till he was 65. And good God, he's taking $171,941.22 for the rest of his life. He would have drawn his money down to the line of zero at age 82. He would have been broke. That $1.3 million would have went up in smoke. Have you ever heard the story of people who got these signing bonuses? Oh, so-and-so got $1 million, but now they're broke. That's why. Because they spent up all their money going cuckoo nuts. You never go broke. This is your fixed income. And guess what? Yes, you can go back over here and tap into the larger balance. You can have your cake and eat it too. All right, I'm not going through that. That's a lot. Okay. What's the next step? The next step is to book a coaching call with me. And I prefer that you not do a Zoom call with me. I prefer that we have a phone call first. Okay? Unless you already know me and you're a referral, then we can do a Zoom call. But if we don't know each other, I'm asking you to book a 15-minute phone call so we can get to know each other over the phone first. Is that cool? All right. So how much am I worth to you? A lot of money if you use me. To design a plan and help you set goals, that's $5,000. That's what a coach would charge you. I had a coach charge me $20,000, okay? We don't do this anymore. I need to take this off to help you eliminate debt. But what we will do is help you flip loans. So if you're trying to buy a piece of property, we'll show you another policy that gives you loan access within 30 days. A be your own bank policy where you can borrow the life insurance company's money after 30 days and flip property. We will show you that one. Oh, that's worth at least $10,000. No doubt. Okay. It's how much you would pay. Avoid paying taxes. You're going to show us the trust, hook us up with the right law firm, make sure they don't gorge you. Because if you go in the law firm and say, I want to roll my 401k into a trust, they're going to look at you like, what? First of all, that's wealth management, and this firm doesn't do that. Second of all, do you have $500,000 in cash assets? Do you have $1 million in cash assets? And if you don't, they're going to ta-ta your little hind parts out the door. But before they do it, they're going to ask you to do a will and a trust, a living trust, just your basic public stuff. And they're going to try to get that done for you, but not this Rockefeller structured trust. You listen, we have been able to do this for people who have at least $100,000 saved up. And we've been able to do it in an affordable way. So you want to book that coaching call and get the information you need because it's state specific. Okay? How to turn a life insurance policy into a tax-free IRA. Yes, honey. That's the foundation of my personal retirement plan. And then I have everything else stacked on top of that. But yes, that's a good foundation. Okay? And then a personal coach that you can text and call. I have to stop my clients from texting me at 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. They will text and call me to life. Richelle, I'm like, stop texting me. Okay, so how much is it worth to have a friend like me who's going to tell it to you straight and be honest? At least $20,000 a year. How much? I'm at least worth $65,000 worth of cash in your pocket, a minimum. And that's on the low end. How much am I asking for? What's my charge? 10 referrals, 10 people, 10 good centers of influence due on the second coaching call. So if you say, Richelle, I like you, let's do this. And I say, okay, let me structure something for you and we'll come back for the second call. When I come back for the second call, that's when I expect to get paid my referrals. Not the first call, not the phone call, but after we have made a decision to be in a relationship. Once you give me referrals, guess what? We are friends. We are automatically in a relationship. That starts our fiduciary relationship. Isn't that wonderful? I think so. You're not going to get that deal anywhere with somebody like me, anywhere. Trust and believe that. So there's my QR call, scan it, book a 15-minute phone call. Let's chat on the phone first. And from the phone, if necessary, who knows? You might get some tips and might say, no, just go do this, that, open up the discount and put 3 months worth of savings in there and come back to me, right? It might just be that. And I'll tell you exactly where to go and what to do. And then we won't even have a Zoom call until you get that part, right? So it might just be that, right? Or it might say, okay, well, I need some life insurance. Let's skip all this. Is cute, but just give me some life insurance. My mama, my daddy, my cousin, my baby. I'm like, okay, let's get on the Zoom call, right? So first, let's get past that. Then get on a Zoom call, okay? Either way, join our Facebook group. We have the women's coaching. Well, we have a Be Your Own Bank coaching group where we're going to do a 3-day challenge, and we're going to deep dive into Be Your Own Bank policies because there's a couple different types, and we're going to deep dive into 3 different points. Join the Facebook group. Soon as we have 100 people in there, we're going to launch that. Join the women's group. It's only for women. I've had some men try to sneak up in there. I will not approve you, okay? It's only for women of color. Japanese, Chinese, Philippine, you must have some melanin. I'm sorry, listen, I love y'all other ladies, but this is for ladies of color because we are a minority, we're neglected, and we just didn't learn this stuff. So it's for us. I'm sorry, I love y'all, but that's what it's for, okay? We'll have another group for everybody, okay? The Be Your Own Bank Challenge group is for everybody. This group is a special group. Okay, so there's is scan. There's my cell phone, my business cell phone number. It comes directly to my phone. So it's linked in from business to my phone. So if you take that 1-866-757-4396, you'll be connected straight to me in a secured call. All right? Yes, ma'am. All right. All right. Yay! Clap, clap, clap. Woohoo! I'm clapping for myself. Sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back. Miss Carla, Ezra, are y'all still there? Anybody on Facebook? Hello, Miss Helen, Cecilia. Hello on Facebook. All right.
Still here.
Was that good?
Yes, it was. Very interesting.
All right. So we've got 5 minutes. If you have any questions, if you wrote down anything, you or your son, now is the time to ask what you will.
Well, we've already made our mind up that we're going to call you next week.
Okay, I like that. I like to hear from you and see your faces.
All right.
That sounds like a plan. How you doing, Ezra?
I'm doing all right.
She told me you were her financial advisor.
I don't know about all that. Yeah,
Do you
she has
have a
to take advice
license?
sometimes. No, ma'am.
Okay, see, he was so polite. He said, no, ma'am.
No, ma'am. I'm in computer science.
Nice. Do you do some investing?
Yes, ma'am. Some small time. Nothing too big.
All right. Look, small time grows. I started at $250 a month, and then I just started tithing to myself. And before you know it, boom, I'm in this house. I'm sitting in my movie theater. I have an office downstairs. And I was able to take the money out of that policy and get my mother out of a violent situation. She has her own apartment upstairs. My son, we are doing good, and I did it from the money that's in this policy that I have been growing. So the Bible says, do not despise the day of small beginnings. And he that is faithful over that which is small, that God will make you master over that which is large. And I believe, and I'm not where I want to be just yet, but I can definitely tell you that faithfulness and consistency and the diligence to take care of your mama and grow and learn, man, just count yourself as a multimillionaire, billionaire already. All right, if you're not already one, because I heard your mama was the juice. So,
Yeah. I guess word travels fast.
The word on the street is your mama is the juice. That's what the word is. I'm not gonna tell all her business, but I did hear that she was the juice. Okay. From one juicy lady to another. All right. Well, listen, love and blessings again. Happy Mother's Day month. I'm wearing pink. I got my pink because I was born in October. My pink stones. I'm wearing pink for you. Love and blessing. And look out for this video maybe in June on YouTube. All right. Blessings to everybody. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Blessings. Good night.